Hello, welcome to tonight's Thermomix cooking experience. So my name's Laura and I'm just going to be cooking something simple for you tonight, but I want to show off all the features of the Thermomix. It sounds like Naomi can hear us, so that's good. At any point in tonight, please feel free to come off mute and talk to me, ask me questions, or write your questions in the chat. You can also be on video if you want to be a bit more interactive. I don't mind either way, whether you're on or off video. Sometimes I like to see faces, but that's okay. I understand. If you want to just be relaxing in your own home, that's totally fine as well. But yes, so welcome. And so the Thermomix, which I will be showing better, but here it is right next to me, is engineered by a company called Vorwerk over in Germany. And it's our smart connected kitchen. That's the only thing you need in the kitchen because it does so many things, which we'll try and cover in a short space of time. But first of all, just to introduce you to the family who brought the Thermomix to Australia, I do want to show you this little clip because it shows some great things. And then we'll carry
Meet Grace, mum, grandmother, friend, neighbour and home cook. In 2000, she added another string to her bow. She became Australia's first Thermomix consultant. Consultants live to share their love of Thermomix. Every consultant has a story, and this is Grace's. On a family trip to Poland, she saw the possibilities of the Thermomix firsthand.
Straight away I saw how Thermomix could inspire people to create delicious food while spending less time in the kitchen and more time on the things that matter. Our mission is to make a difference in people's lives by helping them to easily create healthy, delicious meals every day and enjoy it. And now, with the smart connected TM6, it's all at the touch of a button.
The manufacturer Vorwerk, whilst global, is a family business at heart. Just like our family business here in Australia and New Zealand.
Growing up, Thermomix was a big part of our family. As a teenager, it got me in the kitchen creating new things and ignited my passion for food. Now as a dietitian and a mum, I get to pass on my knowledge of health and nutrition and my passion for cooking with my children and the whole Thermomix community.
Today, more than 2,000 consultants share cooking experiences with people around Australia and New Zealand. More than 13 million Thermomixes have been sold across 40 different countries, including almost 500,000 here in Australia and New Zealand. And many of Australia's top chefs are cooking with Thermomix too. Since 1971, Vorwerk has been producing Thermomix in Germany and France, helping people around the world to create a lifetime of amazing meals. German precision engineering, paired with cutting-edge technology, combines 20 different functions into the one compact Thermomix appliance. Thermomix was first to introduce guided cooking, an innovative way to create meals by simply following the on-screen step-by-step instructions.
We've developed over 15 cookbooks and more than 2,100 triple-tested recipes on Cookidoo, our digital recipe library. Your Cookidoo subscription also provides you access to over 42,000 recipes from countries all around the world. What I love about my TM6 is that I can search for any of these recipes on Cookidoo directly on the screen of my Thermomix.
Today, your consultant will show you how Thermomix can help you to easily create delicious food smarter and faster. If you are curious about becoming Thermomix consultant, the next step is as simple as having a chat with your consultant today.
Now it's time for your consultant to show you what you can create with your smart connected Thermomix. Thank you for coming to today's cooking experience and sharing in our love for Thermomix. We hope you enjoy.
Okay, so just a little intro there about the Thermomix. And before we go any further, I really just want to ask you all, what's important to you when it comes to cooking? So there should be a question on your screen now. that you can answer. If you can't find that, I'll get you to put it in the chat box. But basically, not to typecast people, but we do find a lot of people have different interests in the kitchen, and it could be more than one option as well. But the options we've got are healthy, simple, fast, creative, or saving money, simplicity, or taste. So lots of different reasons of, different things of what's important to you when it comes to cooking. So thank you for that. I'll just end that poll, and I can see health is our number one answer, followed by time, then simplicity, but every single answer has been ticked. So that's really interesting to see. Thank you. Everyone's answered now. Yeah, health, time, simplicity, great. Well, I can share that with you just for your own interest, but that's really helpful for us. We do like to keep tabs on what's important for people, and it will also help me guide tonight's discussion based on what interests you. And then just before we get cooking as well, the other thing I want to just make sure everyone is aware of is the price of the Thermomix, which is $2,359. Comes with everything you see. You get the basic cookbook and all the accessories, which I'll be showing you tonight. We do have some really good payment options. You can earn a Thermomix, as you saw in the video, and we do have some payment options where it's broken down into monthly or weekly. So we have 24 months interest free, which is less than $25 a week to have a Thermomix on your bench. So I like to think you probably wouldn't miss that money out of your bank account. If it's only $25 a week, you wouldn't miss that, but you'll be so happy that you have a Thermomix. But I'll go through the payment options really properly at the end because there's more. But I just wanted to make you aware of that before we got cooking. And so these are all the different functions of what a Thermomix can do. 20 different functions in one, and it keeps getting better because we get new software updates regularly with new modes. So there's actually more than what it says here. But if anyone has any questions about any of the modes, please feel free to ask. Just come off mute and ask, or put it in the chat. I don't have time to show you all of these today, but I'm going to see what I can show you. We have other classes available and lots of resources for anyone who wants to look further into the Thermomix after tonight's Express demo. So I'm going to put that to the side and try and get cooking. I'm going to move you all just so you can see what we have here with the Thermomix. And I want to show you in particular the screen at the moment. This is the home screen when you first turn on the Thermomix. And these are all the modes. So we have inbuilt scales, a dough mode, turbo mode for a quick burst, a clean mode, which I love. I use that all the time. Blend is pretty obvious. The egg boiler, look at this, I love this. You put the eggs in the water in and you choose whether you want them done soft, medium, or hard. It's very cool. All these modes are so intuitive, really great. There's a reheat mode, thicken for sauces and custards, rice cooker, ferment to make your yogurts and veggies, slow cook, sous vide, and peeler. I could talk for a long time about each of these modes, but I do want to get cooking. But the other, when we slide the other way, this is the most exciting part. We have Cookidoo here, which is our recipe platform, which just has thousands and thousands of recipes. And you can scroll down and see what's trending and what's new. They give new recipes every month, which is exciting. So our latest collection here is all about less waste. And then before that, we had Magnolia's Kitchen come on. So yeah, this is our recipe platform. And what you can do is just start typing something. So whatever you want to make. It's a little bit slower when I'm on Zoom because of the way it is. But you can just start typing something. You could type in an ingredient, like the word chicken, or you could type in the name of something, or you could just type in something simple like dinner ideas and see what comes up. But today I want to show you this one pot pasta just as an example because it shows off lots of the functions of the Thermomix. So as we're going, this may not be the type of recipe you would make for your family, and that's okay, but just have a think of the functions I'm using and what you might cook. So there's lots of different recipes on here that would suit all different types of households. So I'll get started, and please ask questions as we go. Yeah, so once you've found the recipe you want to cook, you just press, oh, you can scroll down to see the info about it. You've got the ingredients and the steps, and you've got some nutrition information and tips and substitutions. But when you're ready to go, just press start. So I'll move a bit better. So every ingredient that comes up, it brings up the scales and it tells you what to put in. So it wants me to put in some cheese, and I'm just leaning on it on the back there, so the scales are going a bit crazy. So I'm just putting in the parmesan cheese. I didn't pre-weigh that, so I just estimated. So that's pretty good, halfway. And then we press next. So you do what it says and you press next. It's telling me to put the lid on. And now the time is set, and all I need to do is turn this dial and it's going to grate that cheese for us. So the reason we're grating our cheese is because when you buy pre-grated parmesan, it's got additives in it, and we don't want those. So we're grating our own block, which is cheaper. It's more affordable to buy everything, you know, raw and non-processed, but it's also healthier because it's got no additives in it. And there's our perfectly grated parmesan cheese, which I'm going to put back in that bowl. I'm pretty sure the recipe says to do that. Yep, set it aside because that's going to go on our pasta at the end. So how quick was that too? Like, a lot of you said you need to save time in the kitchen. How's that? Grating parmesan in 10 seconds. Healthier, cheaper, quick. And then I've just used the lid as a funnel to get that back into the bowl. There we go. We've got our nicely grated parmesan cheese there. And it's telling me to clean and dry the mixing bowl. I do have two. It's very quick to clean and dry, but I do have two, so I'm just going to do a swap and just get a clean and dry one. So onion, I love this. One of my favorite things, a whole onion going in. And even when the recipe asks for it to be cut in halves, I don't bother. I'm a cheat in the kitchen, so it's all just going in. And then we're putting in some garlic and some herbs. It says parsley. I had some parsley, but I also have oregano because that's what I have a lot of in my kitchen, in my herb garden, sorry. Telling me to put the lid on and our measure cup. And that's all going to chop at the same time for 3 seconds. How quick is that to chop the onion, garlic, and herbs all together? And I'll show you the result is all just there, nicely chopped. No tears. We're saving a lot of time. And what I love about this and every meal in your Thermomix is that you're making it from scratch without buying anything processed. So it is really healthy. So saving money, it's healthy, and it's quick. So now one of the reasons I love this recipe are the hidden veggies in it. So now it's asking me to add some capsicum just in chunks because it's going to cut it for us. So in goes the capsicum, and then zucchini. Again, I've just cut that zucchini in thirds. It was kind of a small zucchini. If it was bigger, I would have done quarters. And this recipe has these hidden veggies in the sauce. I do this in other recipes that don't even ask for it. If the recipe asks for an onion, I also put in some zucchini, capsicum, spinach, carrot, whatever veggies I want in it, and they're just going to go into that sauce. So that's all chopped in there. It's telling me to scrape it with our spatula. And already it's smelling really awesome. And now we're adding some oil. So the scales on the TM6 go in 1 gram increments. So they're really accurate, very precise, even if you're just drizzling something in or sprinkling in a powder like cocoa or something like that. Putting that in, and now that's going to saute. for 3 minutes. So you've got time to go do whatever else you want. You don't need to be at the stove stirring. What I love about this is it's just all in the one bowl. And this is most Thermomix dishes where the same bowl, the same dish you're using is where you're prepping. So it's chopped the onion for us, and then you're adding your next ingredients, and now it's stirring and cooking at the same time, just sauteing for you. So at the end of making dinner, there's hardly any mess to clean up because everything's in there, but also it's just so quick and easy. So what you can do now in that 3 minutes, if I show you, is some multitasking. So if I press these 3 dots up here, I can go to the recipe detail, scroll down and see the next ingredients that I need to get. So it's asking me to get some tomatoes, water, cream, my stock paste, and then I need the fettuccine and the salami as well. So I can use those 3 minutes while the onion's sauteing to go and get those ingredients. So before you start cooking dinner, you don't have to have everything lined up the way they do on cooking shows. You only need your first few ingredients, because while they're being sauteed, you've got time because you're not having to stand there stir. And the other great thing about the Thermomix cooking for you is the timer is always set. It won't cook without the timer. So no disasters are going to be happening. Nothing can burn. Nothing can get out of hand. If the doorbell rings, the phone, a child needs you, no matter what happens, this is all safe here. And if you need to leave the kitchen and come back, you can leave the house and come back if you want. And then your recipe will be right where you need it to be for the next step. So this is simplicity. A lot of you teach simplicity. It can't get easier. The instructions are on the screen. You follow it. Your hands are free. It's really just super easy to cook in your Thermomix. So I do want to show you though, one of the next ingredients we're adding is stock paste. And this is an interesting looking ingredient. It doesn't look fabulous, but I've got my tub here. We make it in the Thermomix, and it's vegetables, herbs, salt, and then you store it. It fills this whole container. You can see I'm almost due to make some more. But that's your flavor base for a lot of your recipes. So 100% of the recipe you're making for your family's dinner is made by you, not an additive in sight. So it's really exciting, but it's also cheaper. So it's a lot cheaper than buying store-bought stocks. Yeah, and it makes a lot. So you've got it on hand in the freezer, and it doesn't freeze hard. It's scoopable straight out of the freezer, so you can add it into your recipes. So that's one of the ingredients that's going to be going in next. Yeah, well, it's time for that now, actually. So, and you can see the steam's been rising. That's been sauteing beautifully. It looks a bit of a mush at the moment because we had all those veggies in it, but it's all happening in there. So now it's asking me, every time I press next, the scales come up. So now it's asking me to add 400 grams of tomatoes, and it says cut. I've got tiny tomatoes. I'm not going to bother cutting them because as I said, I'm a cheat in the kitchen. So instead of chopping them myself, I'm going to show you how this is a guided recipe. You don't have to do everything it says. I'm going to get out of this recipe. I'm going to press home. And then I'm just going to use the normal speed selector to cut those tomatoes. Probably speed 4, actually. There we go, 5 seconds on speed 5. I changed my mind as I was going. And you're allowed to do that. Yeah, that looks good. So I can show you. Without pouring this mixture onto my laptop, but yeah, it's kind of diced the tomatoes in. So in the recipe, it only wanted them quartered, and that's great in this recipe, and they stay as quite big pieces, but my family prefer the smaller, and that's why, great, let the Thermomix chop it for you. And now whenever we're ready to go back into the recipe, you've got a little bookmark here to resume where you left off. So I'll press next and carry on. I put the lid on and I didn't need to do that. So just adding some water now. And you can see the scales going up. It can take a few weeks to get used to Thermomix cooking, particularly when to slow down on the scales, things like that, and learning which speeds you like your food chopped at. But once you're used to it, it's amazing. The other thing I wanted to let you know, if this is all seeming a little bit overwhelming, is that tonight is showing you how the Thermomix can fit into a kitchen, especially one that's, you know, looking to be healthier or save more time or be simple. Just whether Thermomix would work for your family. Once you do invest in a Thermomix, your consultant will come and show you how to use it properly. And that could be in person or it could be virtually over Zoom if that's what you prefer. But you'll get a proper lesson where we actually go through every piece and every button and make sure you're really confident about that. So if you're looking at me thinking I'm making it look easier than what it is, it's because I've used a Thermomix for 12 years now. And, you know, everyone uses it differently and you'll get there. I do find it only takes a few weeks to get used to it. So that's going to cook now for 10 minutes. So that's our sauce. How easy is that to make a beautiful pasta sauce from scratch that's going to be so flavoursome? The other thing we get feedback about the stock, whenever that goes into a recipe, the flavour of whatever that dish is delicious. So are there any questions at the moment? You're being a bit quiet and that's totally fine, but just wanted to check in and make sure that I'm not going too fast about anything. Okay, great. Yeah, don't be shy. So what I want to show you now in some of that time while the sauce is cooking is Cookidoo. Now, Cookidoo is our recipe platform, as I kind of showed you a little bit earlier. I do want to show you on the screen so you can see how great this recipe platform is. As I said earlier, you could just type in an ingredient, like say you've bought a giant pumpkin and you don't know what to do with it because it's in season at the moment and you just want to, you know, use something. So you can type in the word pumpkin and see that I've had 278 pumpkin recipes come up. If you want to narrow that down further, you can use a filter. So you can search by a category. You can also search by tags. These are things like gluten-free, dairy-free, easy, healthy, whatever tag you want to give it. Difficulty, time, portions. If you're cooking for a crowd or just for a few people, you know, you can change that filter. You can also filter by ratings, although do take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, not every recipe is rated fairly, I find, but yeah. And the other thing you can filter by the language and the country of the head office who produced the recipe. So that can change some of your results as well. So I've just got it on English because that's all I can be bothered with. Some people do Google Translate, or a lot of people are bilingual. That's not me. I'm not talented enough for that. Another thing you can type in, if you just want the healthy recipes to come up, you can type in that word. Or what else? We just had Mother's Day. That was another one you could have typed in, and it brings up recipes that it thinks fit the theme. I was with someone today who wanted lunchbox ideas. You can type in the word lunchbox. Get some nice things coming up. What else? You guys tell me what's something you want me to put in the search bar. If anyone is wondering if there's a particular recipe, if it does it, like maybe what your favorite recipe is, something you order at a restaurant, something your mama used to make or whatever, we can see if it's in Cookidoo if you want. But yeah, I find most things are on here because it's very comprehensive. Once you've found a recipe that you want to make, so say we want to make this san choy bao, which is delicious, by the way, you can organize that by adding it to your cook today. You can bookmark it, add it to a collection. That's like folders. So these are my folders. You can organize it by different things, or you can put it in your weekly planner. And this is where you choose which day you want to make it. So say I want san choy bao on Sunday. I'll click Sunday the 15th. And then what I will do is add it to my shopping list as well. So when I come to my week, you can see what I've planned for the week, and your shopping list is here. If I go to show ingredients, it has organized all the recipes I'm making this week into categories so that, you know, all your spices are together, all your dairies together. So as you're walking down the aisle, it makes it really easy for you. So this just saves a lot of time and a lot of waste, saves money in the end because you're organized just by meal planning, giving you the shopping list you need. And then when you go to cook, you know, you'll have all your ingredients. So anything you've already got at home, just tick first. I've always got water. And so then if you don't even want to be the one shopping, you can share it with someone. But if you use the app on your phone, as you're going down the aisles, as you're adding the items to your trolley, you can then tick it again so that by the end of your shop, everything's empty. And if you want to add other things, you can do that down here, like add soap or eggs, whatever you want. But for those who've noticed, there is a beautiful button up here that I love, order ingredients. If you don't even want to do the shopping, it only works with Woolworths at the moment. We're hoping to get more supermarkets on board. But this detects your whole week's shopping list and gives you, like, just puts it all in your shopping cart for Woolworths. If you don't like the brand they've automatically chosen for you, you can press the swap button and pick the brand that you do like for whatever reason. And when you're ready, you just press the add to cart down the bottom. So you can do a click and collect or a home delivery. But I will get out of that. And when you get your Thermomix, your consultant will help you further about this as well. This is just showing you the capabilities of what Cookidoo can do. The other thing you can do in Cookidoo, even though they're adding a million recipes every month and there's so many recipes, the other thing you can do is add your own recipes in. So if you have family favorites, you can come here and add them in yourself. This is a fairly new feature, so I've only added in a few, but I love it. You know, in my family's spaghetti recipe that I've been making for years, and that's my daughter. She's the one who makes it. So it's exciting for her that her picture comes up on the Thermomix screen when she's going to be making it for us. Yeah. So any questions about Cookidoo? Please don't be shy. I'll stop the share. There's more, like it does. There's so many recipes on there. So, okay, got a few minutes while that's going. What I want to show you about, oh, actually I better show you this before I move on. That I just want to make sure everyone is aware that Cookidoo is a subscription-based website. So it's $69 per year. When you first get a Thermomix, you do get 7 months free subscription. So in that time, use it to death, see if you love it or don't, because once that time runs out, you don't have to keep subscribing if you don't want to. The Thermomix is still very usable without it. There will be a few limitations, but by and large, it's, you know, still very usable. Or you will know whether you want to keep using it and whether that $69 a year is worth it to you. So definitely want to make the most out of it in that first time period. So I do want to share with you all, while this is cooking, this is the great thing about doing a virtual cooking experience, is that I can show you a few things at the same time. I actually want to show you another recipe you can do in your Thermomix, which is honeycomb using the high heat mode. And it's just cool. I love that the Thermomix can do things like this. Hopefully you can see that. Oh no, I think I shared the wrong thing. Here we go. So yeah, high heat honeycomb. You come along, type in the word honeycomb, and this is such a cheap treat to make as well, or gift to give to people, wrapped in cellophane. It's beautiful. So you can get your tray ready. You can put it in molds or just on a flat tray. And then the recipe just guides you through. So sugar, water, and honey are the main ingredients, but the scales come up and it tells you everything you need to do. One thing I would caution you if you're going to be making this with children is to be there when this finishes cooking. You do need to be there to pour it out. I don't think it's one of the recipes that kids should be doing without adult supervision, although most recipes are. I have my 7-year-old in the kitchen a lot, just cooking, and I'm not even here. But high heat mode is one of those ones where I think it's best to have adult supervision. But look how beautifully that's bubbling up. Cooking that toffee for that honeycomb, that's at 160 degrees. And that takes 22 minutes. And in that time, you know, you don't have to stay in the kitchen. As I've said earlier, you can leave. And when that's done, the next step is to add the bicarb soda. And that toffee in there is very hot. And that's what I was talking about adults doing this one. I think it's the only recipe I would ever say that for. But yeah, give it a stir with our spatula. Then pour it into a tin or a mold or a tray, wherever you want it to set. It sets fast, so you just need to work kind of quickly with it. And then what's cool is the recipe has a built-in pre-clean mode into it. So to get all that honeycomb out of that bowl, you add in some water and it does a clean. I can skip through that. That's not too exciting to watch, but yeah, it's water, vinegar, and it does a little clean mode and speeds up and stirs. What I want to show you at the end is the snap of this honeycomb. Hear that crunch? So beautiful. And all it was sugar, water, honey, and bicarb soda. So yeah, just an example of a treat you can make in your Thermomix hands-free, because normally that's the type of thing you need to be at the stove with a candy thermometer, you know, being very precise. So while that video just ended, our 10 minutes ended here. So I'm going to click next and show you the next part of our recipe. This is what I love about some of these Thermomix recipes, that you can make a sauce and then add in your pasta, and the pasta will cook in the sauce. So I've just broken some fettuccine in half. You don't have to, you can leave it whole if you want. Because that's what the recipe used to say. This is an old recipe our family have loved for years, and it never used to say to break it in half. And then some salami or chorizo. You could also add chicken. You could just leave it out and have it vegetarian. You don't have to add in anything, but that salami is something that our family really like the flavor of, because I don't buy it often. Now it's telling me to mix well, just with the spatula, just to kind of get everything submerged in that sauce. Doesn't have to be perfectly, because the blades are going to be stirring and getting it all in. I'll just show you actually, so you know what I'm talking about. It's just kind of there. And so then we're going to put the lid on, and that cooks for another it says 7 minutes, prolong by 3 minutes if necessary. I do prolong that. Now, most recipes I don't touch. I think they're perfect the way they are. This one, I do think the fettuccine needs that time. So I'm going to set that to 9:30. Now, and same as that last 10 minutes, I was here chatting to you about Cookidoo, but normally while dinner's cooking, I leave the kitchen. So now is another chance where I could leave the kitchen as well. And I would love to know I would love to know from all of you, how long does it currently take you to cook dinner? And I've put some options up on your screen, because I am always super curious about this. I used to spend about an hour pre-Thermomix. Somewhere between half an hour and an hour is what I used to spend. And what frustrated me was that I'd spend all that time cooking dinner, but eating dinner would only take 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes if we try and have conversations. And then all the cleanup, all that cleanup time I used to have. So now cooking dinner takes me 5 or 10 minutes to get it all in the Thermomix. I leave the kitchen and then come back when it's ready. But then after dinner, the cleanup is so fast, maybe 5 minutes, 10 tops. It's like very quick and easy. So our top from you guys is 45 minutes, if I share those results with you, and followed by an hour and then half an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. So my next question for you all is, if your dinner was as quick as mine is, having a Thermomix, what would you do with your spare time? And I've just given some random options based on what customers tell me. I often just put my feet up or spend time with the kids, but sometimes there's chores to be done around the house, laundry, cleaning, vacuuming is a common thing. Look, I've got a little bandit behind me stealing a mandarin out of the fruit bowl. He was trying to be stealthy. Yeah, I'm just waiting for everyone's answers on this one. I'm always so curious. What would you do with all that time you're going to get back for not having to cook dinner? It's kind of exciting to think about, just having more time in the day thanks to our smart connected kitchen here. And the other thing about it is knowing that it's cooking safely. Well, you can, and I leave the house sometimes. If I need to go pick up a child from dance or gymnastics or wherever they are, and then I come back and dinner's ready. It's really exciting. So the top was cleaning. Sounds boring, but it has to get done. And how exciting to multitask that cleaning with your cooking. And then everything else looks pretty even. We've got laundry, kids, shower, putting feet up, and hobbies. Oh, hobbies, that's exciting. So yeah, thank you for indulging my curiosity there. I always love to know, because I really just think the Thermomix changes people's lifestyles around so much. And a few of you did say you cared about time. So hopefully that is exciting to see how much time you can save by having a Thermomix. Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to show you is how to make a dough in the Thermomix. And I need to just close off that. I want to show you the pizza Bianca recipe, because I love making dough. We make a lot of bread and scrolls and hot cross buns and cinnamon buns and all the things. Dough is just so easy in here, and it's like the type of thing I never would have made without a Thermomix. So you come type in what you want to make. I also love the basic bread rolls and the focaccia. The focaccia is one of my favorite recipes in the Thermomix, but today I'm showing you the pizza Bianca recipe. And it guides you through everything, even turning on your oven and lining your tray. And you can see the recipe asks for 2 cloves of garlic. We've put in a lot. All the recipes are just guides. They're guided cooking. You're still in control, and you're still able to put the ingredients that you want in. So if you want to do extra garlic, go for it. And if you want to skip an ingredient, if you don't want any herbs in it, skip it. Like, it's up to you. The rosemary in this is beautiful though. Yeah, you can see how quickly that chops. Only a few seconds to chop your garlic and herbs, as you saw earlier with the onion that I've made here live. Set that aside in some oil, and that's going to go on top of our pizza Bianca. So now it comes time for the dough, and most doughs are very simple in that they're only 5 ingredients: water, yeast, flour, salt, and oil. But the great thing about the Thermomix is the temperature control we have. So we can set this, we're putting in now the yeast with a little bit of sugar, which is optional, in that water, and that's going to activate now at 37 degrees. So your body temperature, which is the perfect temperature for fermenting. So all your doughs in here get cooked like perfectly. So that's 2 minutes of activating that dough, the yeast, sorry. Then you add your flour, oil, and salt, and it does a knead for 2 more minutes. This video is sped up just to be quick for this demo, but that's a 2-minute process. So all up, the dough takes 5 minutes. And then you get it out of the bowl and set that aside to rise. And now this one's being risen in our thermo mat, which is a silicone mat which traps the heat in nicely, so that you can rise dough very beautifully, but also it's good to work on with pastries and doughs. Now normally, this is a friend of mine who made this recipe. She's doing this in 1 pizza base, and you'll see it's very thick. I normally break this dough in half and get 2 bases out of it, so it's a lot thinner, but that's up to you. Everything is just as you want it to be. So baked in the oven for 15 minutes, and there you have it. Oh, that went a bit fast, but yeah, put on the topping, bake it, and then yeah, you can see how thick this is going to be at the end. Sorry, there it is. Yeah, and that's because she's done it in one instead of two, and that's just the way she likes to do it. I like it in two, and that's great that everyone likes to do things differently, and you're the one cooking, so you get to choose. So any questions about doughs or pastries or anything else we've covered tonight? Okay, that's good, that's good. Yeah, some of the other things you can do in your Thermomix are making quick dips, you know, a minute, salads in 5 seconds, coleslaw, making your own mayonnaises, sauces, desserts, lunchbox snacks, like the sky's the limit. It's more a question of about what it can't do. So if we go back to our, where were we? Back to our flip chart here where we talked about all the functions of what the Thermomix can do. Milling ingredients. So if you want to mill sugar to make icing sugar out of raw sugar, you can do that, or spices. Whipping desserts or cream, egg whites. You can mince your own meat. Braise, stew, cook, sautéing. We're seeing all that kind of thing. Grinding, you can grind your own grains to make wholemeal flours or rice flours if you're gluten-free. Kneading, we talked about. Caramelizing, you saw with the honeycomb. Emulsifying, steam, we haven't talked about that. That's a good idea. Let me show you some of the attachments that come with the Thermomix. So, dropped one. So this is your simmer basket. This sits inside the bowl. If I just get another bowl, I can show you. Sits inside there, so you can steam whatever you want to steam, or a lot of us cook rice in that. So that's our simmer basket. We also have a butterfly attachment, which is your whisk basically, and that sits on top of the blades. Give it a little twist and it sits there to do your whipping. We also have a varoma, which is a steamer. Now this one sits on top, and you can see this pasta is producing a lot of steam. You could have the varoma sitting on top, steaming veggies, fish, chicken, rice, and it all just cooks at the same time. So you can be doing multi-layered cooking, which is really energy efficient as well. We have a family of 6 in our house, so we do a lot of things where we've got something cooking in the bowl and then something else steaming above, and then we've got 5.5 liters of food, which is a lot. We often have leftovers. That's great. I love leftovers. What else haven't we covered? Blend, crush, puree, chop, you know, baby food, purees, obvious. And we've done all the rest. So I know I'm going fast. Please reach out to your consultant if you want to see any of these other features. I'm also happy to stay on afterwards if anyone has questions you're not comfortable asking in front of the group. But that's the end of our pasta, and I want to show you some other things as well. But so this is our thermo server. This is one of our host rewards. It doesn't actually come with the Thermomix itself, but for grabbing 2 people together to show how the Thermomix works, you can earn, so same as what we're doing tonight. A lot of you are on because we've got a great host reward happening at the moment. This is another option. This is a double insulated stainless steel that keeps your food hot for a few hours or cold, either way. But I'm going to pour the pasta in there to let it soak up some excess liquid, stir in the cheese, and then our pasta will be ready. My daughter came down earlier and said, "What are you making tonight?" And she saw the ingredients on the bench. She goes, "Oh, I know exactly what you're making." I love that. She's so excited. So this will be our dinner for tomorrow night, now that I've made it to show you tonight. Normally I make everything fresh, so it'll be interesting. Just give it a quick reheat tomorrow. It'll be great. But there, as you can see, and then you just remember the parmesan cheese we had earlier. So I'll put that on top and stir it through, and we've got a beautiful flavorsome, so flavorsome, this fettuccine. It's beautiful. And then what's so great about it are all those hidden veggies, no additives, just a good family meal. So that's a pasta. We do pasta probably once a week, maybe not even. We do a lot of rice dishes, but we love curries and stir fries, which you can all do in the Thermomix. Soups in winter, we love doing that. The Thermomix is amazing for soup. Yeah, and then our layered cooking where we might have rice cooking with fish and veggies. That looks great. So I think you can all see there how quick and I'm spilling it. How quickly and easy was that to make a one-pot pasta while I mainly just chatted to you for 20 minutes while that was cooking. I'll set that aside while I finish telling you what I need to tell you. So that's dinner sorted, and how with no sweat, like just so easy, putting in ingredients, pressing buttons, easy enough for children to follow. And I do get my kids to follow it regularly when I can't be the one pressing the buttons in the kitchen. If I'm elsewhere, they can come and do it. It's that easy. And then for those who don't want to follow guided recipes, you don't have to. You have the manual mode of Thermomix to be doing whatever you want to do off the top of your head and everything. So if you're a seasoned chef who doesn't want to be told what to do step by step, you don't have to be as well. There is still the manual mode of cooking in the Thermomix. So as I started to mention about today's cooking experience, if any of you are thinking now, and you can probably think of 2 or 3 people who you think should see the Thermomix, you can actually book your own cooking experience, and you can set the time with your consultant of the time that suits the 2 of you and your guests to come on. It could be virtual like what we're doing now over Zoom, or it could be in your home where everyone gets to have a turn and press buttons and eat the food. So there's a few options there, but there's some really great rewards for doing that, because it's the only way we can share our business with people is through word of mouth and spreading the word. So that gift is a thank you to you for introducing us to your friends. Definitely no obligation for anyone to purchase a Thermomix. It's all about come and see. So that's our cooking experiences. And then the customer service. The favorite part of my job is being able to show new customers how to use their Thermomix. So the first step you've all already done, because you're here tonight at the cooking experience, and you can host as many of those as you want. There's not a limit. Number 2, when you get your Thermomix, we will help you unpack it and show you how to use it. I think I already mentioned that earlier, but we definitely really want to make sure everyone's confident and comfortable going forward. We also have cooking classes available, and a lot of them are on Zoom with different themes, which are fun. We're starting to get back to in-person cooking classes as well, so ask your consultant about when they're happening. So the reason, if you haven't gathered, as I've been talking tonight, the reasons why most people invest in a Thermomix do change, but they're mostly centered around healthy, simple, fast, creative, saving money, environmental benefits. So now that you've seen some of what the Thermomix can do, I'd love to know which benefit of the Thermomix appeals to you the most. And I know a lot of you told me earlier what's important to you with cooking, but that may not be the same thing of now that you've seen the Thermomix. It may not be the same thing, the same reason why you would get a Thermomix. And for some of you, it may be a few different options. We're not one-dimensional. So when I first bought my Thermomix, it was just to save time in the kitchen. I literally didn't even care about health at all. And once I got it, I started cooking and realizing how amazing it is for cutting out additives and preservatives. And I was educated and I learned all about that, which is awesome. So now if I was to buy a Thermomix, maybe it would be different. Thank you. So simplicity is our number 1. That's interesting. And then time, and then health, saving money, and then creativity and environmental benefits. So isn't it so interesting, the different things we all care about, which is so great. Love diversity. Awesome. So I'm going to go through the payment options now of a Thermomix. As I said earlier, it's $2,359. The first option is that you can earn a Thermomix. So cool. So instead of spending your money, you can spend your time. And it's a matter of sharing the Thermomix with the community. And what I love about being a consultant are the flexible hours. You're in control of your business. It is fun. And it's rewarding as well. Aside from earning a Thermomix, you can go on to earn commission, but we also get gifts. So one thing our brand new consultants always have the option to earn, well, they do earn in their first 2 months, is a second bowl set. So that's one of the things you can earn. We're always earning other things, vacuums and all the bakeware and all the things on our mix shop. We're just always earning. So it's always very rewarding and fun. So if you're interested in that, let myself or your consultant know, and we'll get you the info about it just to check it out and see if it's for you and whether it would work for you or not. Option 2, we have a few different payment plans. We have Easy 3, which splits up the payments over 3 months on a credit card. You've got Zip Money, which is 24 months interest free. As I said earlier, less than $25 a week to have a Thermomix on your bench. We also have Afterpay available as an option as well, and one-off payment, which you can do via PayPal, bank deposit, or a credit card. So lots of ways. They do really understand the pressures that households have these days. So head office have really tried to make it as affordable as possible for different people's options of how they want to get a Thermomix in their kitchen. The other thing we haven't talked about too much today, oh, no, I have mentioned it a bit, is the amount of money you save once you have a Thermomix. So that initial investment does come back to you quite quickly, cutting out takeaway, cutting out processed foods, buying raw ingredients, meal planning and getting organized and only buying what you need as well. But there's a lot of kitchen staples you can make yourself instead of buying, like bread. It costs 80 cents to make 3 pizza doughs compared to buying them at the shop. Yogurt costs $1 instead of $5. Peanut butter, buy the peanuts. Things like that. I could go on and on. There's lots of ways you can save money in your Thermomix just by doing it yourself. And it's like the old-fashioned way of doing it. We always knew we could, but it took too long and it wasn't convenient. But in this, it's so simple. You actually do end up doing it. And we do have lots of other accessories available to purchase on our mix shop. As I said, if you're a consultant, you get to earn all these goodies for free, but they are all great products available on the mix shop as well. The mat, which we saw in the dough, is one of them. There's host rewards available as well, and we do have our Kobold vacuum range available as well. So that is the end of our cooking experience. I hope I've tried to be as quick as possible, and I can see we've gone over time, but that's because there's just, I don't know how to get it down to 45 minutes, to be honest. But please feel free to come off and ask any questions. I'll stick around for anyone who wants to ask me anything. Your consultant will be in touch with you to see if you have further questions or if you wanted to see the Thermomix again. We have other events coming up all the time. If you're a guest this evening, thank you for joining your host. Your host is earning a reward for you coming along and joining us. If you're wanting to be a host in the future, we have another one of these tomorrow night. We also have them happening all the time. So we can get you hooked up to invite your own guests so you can be the one getting a reward next time. But mainly, I hope you've just seen how awesome the Thermomix is. I love it. My family loves it. It's changed our lives for so much the better. And I just think everyone should see it. So thank you for being my audience tonight. I'm going to stop the recording so that anyone else wants to ask questions can do that. But yeah, thank you and good night.